Gary with Gary versus Cars and More. And today we're back with the Model A, the 29 Model A, which is tucked over there. And the body is over here. But yesterday I picked up some original fenders, rear fenders, as well as front fenders, and a whole host of other parts for a real nice price. So I'm going to do some body work on these, and join me for that. Thank you. Okay, this is the original 28-29 fender that I picked up, and it's got some imperfections. The other one is really good. This one I had to do some hammering to get some dents out. These have been in storage for the past 12 plus years. They were sandblasted and primed. I'm going to need to grind some of this down, get to some fresh metal before I start doing my body work. But really great fenders. And you can tell there's a knurled edge from where they originally, I don't know if you can see that, but from the factory. So I'm going to try to keep that edge where possible. I did do some work, started to grind some things, getting this style line taken care of. So I had to tap this down and just kind of redefine that edge. I'll show you how I'm going to fill that. I had to tap some here on this side of the fender, and then they always seem to have some stress cracks right around here and here, and I'm going to need to clean this up, put a little weld in there. The previous owner had already done some body work or some metal work, which I'm working on right here. I ground down the welds, but overall I'm very happy with the fenders. I had to degrease this one. It had a lot of oil on it, so before I do any body work I got to really wipe these panels down good, because the last thing I want to do is move that oil into the panel itself. So I'm going to get to work on this, and I'll bring you back when I'm done with the metal work, just before body work. All right, I just welded up this panel. It took me about 10-15 minutes. You know, I'm no expert welder, but I can tell you what I've learned along the way, and that is clean metal, take your time, keep it cool, and take your time. This right up here is an example of what I call, I guess you call it a goober or a snot. This is really not the best welds, but I did tap it from the inside. Just got to do a lot of grinding there. Here, down here, I'm just filling metal, just filling that edge. I'm going to smooth that out, work my way around to the other part of the fender. I'm going to grind this down. You'll never know it's been welded. I reinforced under here because I felt like the metal got thin. And then over here, again, you can see from underneath. You can see that weld right there, and that weld right there. So I'll go ahead and grind those down, and then you can see the welds from the inside. When you look at the other side of the metal, it really should look the same as the front side when you look at the back side, because that shows that you've had good penetration with your weld. Okay, here we are with that same fender, and this is finished off right here. I'll tap that back a little bit, that dent up here. These holes are finished off, as well as I cleaned up the edge here, reinforced it, ground it back, the edge there. This edge right here as well, and then underneath. And I even dressed the lip, because whenever you go to a car show, there's always some guy who likes, or even just when you bring your car somewhere, they like to run their hand underneath your car to see, you know, if there's something wrong with it. And I don't really care for people that do that, but it is what it is. And I like to dress those things. And there you can see this has been dressed from the inside. So I'll POR 15 the bottom of this fender in a high gloss black. I'm going to grind down the rest of this primer, and I will skim coat the fender. I don't know if I'm going to skim coat the top. I'm going to skim coat the side and maybe come around here. I don't want to be blotchy with my filler. Generally want to skim coat an entire panel as opposed to just a couple little areas. But I think this fender has some really good shape, and some high build primer might take care of it. And the other fender is just as good. My weapon of choice when grinding is a grinder. I start with something like this. This wheel's beat, but I start with something like this with a sharp edge to give me a precision grind to knock down the weld. And then I smooth everything out with a flap disc. And you know, the key for me is knowing when to stop. You have to know when to stop grinding. So, oh, the neighbors across the street, they must love it when I grind on my car. But more in a bit. Here's a look at the driver's side fender. This fender is great, and it just has really done well. This style line is intact. I tapped out a few dents. Ooh, there's one right there. I should just give a little tap for that, just to smooth that out. But the challenge with this fender is a crack right here. It seems like all these Model A's tend to crack right here, and it looks like it's been repaired once, but it's cracked again. So I'm going to grind this down and clean up the metal, and then probably weld it from the inside. I'm going to see what I can do from the inside on this one, and be back to you with results of that. Here's that same fender from underneath, and boy, that crack comes all the way through. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit more with a wire brush, because you want to get all that crap out of there. I also tapped this piece right here forward so that we could get a good alignment. You know, it's best to just take your time, use a hammer and dolly where you need to, and finesse the metal. Welding is not going to be a cure-all for everything, nor is body filler for that matter. So, and I grinded it down on this side as well, you can see, so that we can get in there and do a really good penetrating weld. I want to save as much of this ribbing as I can. I don't think I'm going to go back and redo that ribbing, but I would love to try to save those lines from when they made this on the assembly line. So I'll be back after I weld this. At some point I'm going to put the camera on live, but I'm not good enough for that kind of stuff. You'll see all my mistakes. Okay, so I hit this weld from the inside. Another thing I like to have is plenty of light, even though I'm outdoors. You can see those are nice penetrating welds. Okay, and I went along the top here. And then when you come around the other side, what you should see is the weld penetration. And I see it on these two, not on that one right up here, but definitely on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and take my time, keep this cool, weld it up, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, here we are. I've just welded this panel up, and using this Lincoln Electric set on C3, and every welder is slightly different. Just gonna have to figure that out. There are plenty of good videos on that. But this is the front side, and what I did was I welded it from the back. The penetration was good, but I think this is a big stress area on these Model A's, so I went ahead and welded the front as well. Take a light from the other side. You take a light from the other side. I don't see any pinholes in there. I'm going to grind this down and call it good. And I think this should not hopefully crack again in that area. You know, a Model A is a great first car for those of you who are looking at this and wanting to do a restoration. Model A is a great first car. It's very simple in its design. The metal is super thick, the Henry Ford steel, so welding is very forgiving. Compared to what's under here is a 66 Mustang convertible, which super thin 4-inch sheet metal for replacement. I have another video on that, and then of course I have my 27 AV8 hot rod that I'm building over there. So I'm going to grind this down and bring you back. Okay, here we are. Metal work is complete. This is all solid through here. Run your hand underneath. Again, solid. You won't even be able to tell there was a crack there. It's been reinforced. This will conclude this video. On the next video, I will be doing body work on these fenders. And off video, I will be repairing a couple areas right here that I've cut out, one there. I had to do a relief cut here to bring this rear quarter back, and then I'm going to fill in a couple holes here, and I'll put a patch piece in here. So see you on the next one. Thank you, and if you like this video, please click and subscribe and give a thumbs up. I am not a professional. I'm just a weekend warrior like many of you, and if I can do it, so can you. So thank you. Have a great day.